teenagers are famous for rebelling. You think of Marlon Brando and the Wild One. You know, what are you after? What do you got? And in this case, here's rebellion. They're standing up and fighting. Maybe they don't even know for what in some cases, but that's their approach. Gangs were starting, yes. There were fights, but you're not talking about some sort of organized or seemingly organized wildness, or for that matter, protest. So in the late 60s and early 70s, Rancho's a polyglot, just as it is later. But there's also a lot more going on outside Rancho to make them notice these problems, these differences.
Ethnic jokes was nothing but a reinforcement of African Americans' inferiority. And so that was told, and we were supposed to laugh. And I think back in those days when African Americans did not assimilate more to white culture, did not talk like, did not try to be a part, but was themselves, that was a threat to the dominant culture.
It felt different about the Base Kids because they were different, and I understand because they had to assimilate to us. They were entirely different. They were black, but they were entirely but they were military families, so there were strict rules that they had to grow up with. And when some of them would get with us, then it would be entirely, it would life-changing for them, not for us. Because now, in order to be black, they were expected to act a certain way, but they didn't act that certain way because they weren't raised that way. It wasn't like they were raised in West Las Vegas, you know. And so they were different in a lot of aspects than what we were.
And I think in a sense too, the kids from West Las Vegas had more anger. Being that first generation out of the South and the Jim Crowism that, let's say, that our parents faced.
I don't understand the hatred that other black students had against me just because I was a military daughter. I speak well, and that's due from my education. Years after I graduated from high school, it was told to me that a couple of people at Rancho wanted to kill me because they didn't like the fact that I crossed the color line. Whatever that's supposed to mean to them, you know, whatever that's supposed to mean.
And who wanted to kill you?
They were both black boys.
It would have been taboo back then, especially for you.
Yes, it would have.
But tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I just always liked Louise, of course, but Louise, yeah, she was somebody that if I couldn't go talk to, I couldn't go hang out with, I couldn't, you know.
But you admired and you were attracted to her.
Yes.
So why didn't you guys ever get together?
Because of the whole racial thing.
But there was always an element that wanted to engage us based upon our attire, whether it was wearing afros, having afro pigs, or we had a great deal of pride in the mother continent, so sometimes we wore dashikis, but it was sort of a fashion statement on the part of some where they would wear the black tams, which was identified with the Black Panther Party, the black leather coats.
I got a call one day from the North Las Vegas Police Department with the name of, I think it was 16 who had been arrested in 1969. And I said, let me check. And I checked with the enrollment at our school. I checked with enrollment with the school district and see if we had someone from other schools participating in some of the bad situations. None of them even had a Las Vegas, Henderson address.
But you were considered one of the pretty girls on campus. If we look at schools today or movies today, one of my favorite movies would be Mean Girls. I don't know if you've ever seen it, with Lindsay Lohan. And It's funny because you have certain cliques, you know, and we didn't really talk about geeks back then because they were just kind of the gnarly kids. But today, you know, you go to any high school valley across the street or anywhere, you'll have your geeks, you'll have your, you know, your mean girls, your pretty girls, the jocks, the cheerleaders, you know, the science kids, you know. Do you think did Rancho have that type of...
Oh, yes.
I was prejudiced for a long time. I was never a racist.
I could have been more aware of the social issues that were fueling this. I saw it as a disruption to my daily schedule. And it's like, oh no, I'm going to miss that class, or I'm not going to be able to do this, or they're going to cancel the game. It was not, they're doing this because they're being treated wrongly, or they're being, you know, thrown on buses manually, or mace thrown, and for goodness sakes.
The black community with the Black Panthers there, and tired of being, in a sense, being stuck to by, you know, the man, as we would say back in the day. We had riots, you know, not only at Rancho High School, but in West Las Vegas. And the Black Panthers came into existence to help people in the neighborhood from, you know, police brutality.
So now you're outcast. You got to find your place, and that's where the Black Panther Party came in. That's where the athletes came in from Rancho and stood guard and was the gatekeepers of our home. These guys, I believe, took the position because all these girls in my mom's family, my brother was the baby, so they were doing a service of actually trying to protect us.
The Panthers were growing, yes, I remember that on the nightly news, etc.
My affiliation with the Black Panther Party actually started in 1968. I had to go back to Oakland, California. And then I sat down with Angela Davis, Bobby Seale, Huey P. Newton, Eldridge Cleaver. And it really touched with some of the things that was going on with me internally. And at that time I joined the Black Panther Party.
And to see guards come in, here it is, now it's become a war zone. And everybody else on the other side of the tracks basically is open. I remember the setting stuff on fire. I remember Vegas Village, things that was happening over by the graveyard on. It was like being in a war zone.
Absolutely. You know, it was a black thing. We was trying to show that, hey, we're people too.
But we were black and we were proud. And
absolutely.
Now, if a white student came up and wanted to join the crowd and put the black robe on, would you have let him?
No. Because he's not, you know, it was for us. It was showing the people that we're people.
But isn't it being racist?
Being racist is being a person of color.
We didn't have a lot of African-American teachers at Rancho, and I remember in 1970 a man came, Buford Cox from Alabama, who came out of Vietnam, served 2 tours as a paratrooper, actually took the interest of not only black students but white students. And there were a lot of angry black students on campus, a lot. And a lot of them, as Spike Lee would say, had a lot of misguided anger. But I believe that we were living in a time where the misguided anger was, in a sense, guided. What Coach Cox brought us was a sense of pride within who we were as black kids. there's always kind of a camaraderie of, football players or athletes in general, of, working together, sweating, running, the whole 9 yards. How could 1 minute you guys are, snapping each other with towels, and the next minute, you're trying to gouge each other's eyes out?
That's kind of hard to, because we weren't angry with each other. It was more or less being angry and striking out against the system.
No matter how old I get, I'm still an Air Force brat. I still don't really see color unless somebody makes it an issue for me. I was raised to think that a man is a man. You don't see a black man, you don't see a red man, you don't see a yellow man, you see a man.
The Vietnam War was pretty much winding down.
Yeah, but we didn't know it in those years that it was winding down.
Right.
Especially from the news media, because it was just, so it was something that they were getting fired up for, and there were so many young men wanting to go over there and get into that mix.